Cooking can be a fun and exciting experience. There are many different ways to cook, and each has its own set of benefits. Here are some tips for cooking that will help make your cooking experience more enjoyable and successful. Cooking is an enjoyable experience for many, but it can also be a daunting task. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced cook, these tips will help make your cooking experience more successful. 1. Read the recipe thoroughly before beginning. This will help you understand the ingredients and the steps involved. The kitchen can be a dangerous place if you're not careful. Accidents happen when people are in a hurry and they don't take the time to read the recipe thoroughly. I know from experience. I've been burned, cut, and almost poisoned because I didn't take the time to read the recipe. One time, I was making cookies, and I didn't realize that the recipe called for baking soda. I put the dough in the oven without adding baking soda and the cookies came out looking like hockey pucks. Another time, I was cooking dinner, and I forgot to add salt to the pasta. The pasta was so bland that no one wanted to eat it. 2. Gather all of the ingredients and utensils that you will need before starting. This will help avoid any interruptions during the cooking process. One of the most important things to remember when cooking is to gather all of the ingredients and utensils that you will need before starting. This will help avoid having to run to the store or kitchen during the middle of cooking, which can disrupt the flow and ruin your dish. It can also be dangerous if you are handling hot foods and have to stop what you are doing to get something else. So, make sure you have everything ready to go before you start. 3. Follow the recipe instructions closely. Do not try to change them or add additional ingredients unless specified in the recipe. One of the joys of cooking is being able to personalize a recipe to make it your own. However, there are times when it is important to follow the recipe instructions closely. Do not try to change them or add additional ingredients unless you are specifically instructed to do so. If you are baking a cake, for example, and the recipe calls for 3 eggs, do not try to substitute 1 egg for a quarter cup of oil. The cake may not rise properly or be the correct texture. If the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of baking powder, do not try to add an extra half teaspoon in an attempt to make the cake rise higher. You may end up with a cake that is heavy and dense instead of light and fluffy. When cooking, it is important to follow the recipe instructions exactly as they are written. 4. Use high-quality ingredients whenever possible. This will ensure that your dish tastes its best. Cooking is an art form that can be enjoyed by anyone with a little bit of practice. The best way to get better at cooking, however, is to use high-quality ingredients whenever possible. This will ensure that your dish tastes its best and you will be able to create something truly delicious. By using fresh, seasonal produce and high-quality meats and seafood, you can take your cooking skills to the next level. 5. Take your time while cooking and do not rush through the steps. Rushing can lead to mistakes and poor results. Cooking is an art that takes time and practice to perfect. When you rush through the steps, you can make mistakes that will affect the outcome of your dish. Rushing can also lead to overcooked or undercooked food. Take your time while cooking and enjoy the process. This will lead to better results and a more enjoyable experience.